So, President, what are the chances that I don't get kicked off Twitter and Facebook just for talking to you?
Oh, I think you have about a 10% chance, a good solid 10%.
10% getting kicked off or 10% staying?
No, 10% staying on, actually. It's crazy. This is a crazy world, and let's see what all happens. I think they're overplaying their hand, but we'll find out about that, Dave.
I would say we've gone from an information war to really just a war on truth at this point. And the way I would say that shifted is, you're right, we were in an information war, meaning for the last, let's say, 10 years, we all got on Twitter, we all got on Facebook and all of these things. We have simply no idea how they've been manipulating us. We have little hints about it. You know, when they've said, okay, you can't post this, or we delete accounts. And we always know it always leans right when they're getting rid of people and banning people. But we really have no sense the extent that shadow bans have hid information from people, the way they've been able to inflate certain stories and deboost other stories and reorganize search results. I mean, there's so many pieces of this that truly I don't think anyone, I actually don't even think whoever they are, I don't think anyone really understands what this information war has now become. Like, I don't know that Jack at Twitter truly knows who's shadow banning who and when they're shadow banned and when Twitter people can read your DMs and all the rest of it. The machines are on, you know what I mean? Like, we're in the rise of the machines in essence. But the reason I would say we've gone from an information war for those 10 years dealing with all that to now a war on truth is that, you know, look, here in America, half the country thought that the election was stolen, half the country didn't. I could go on and on with the endless amount of things that we are now split by. And the simple truth is, it's almost impossible to know what your neighbor thinks. So the people that literally live next door to me, I have no idea if they believe in a similar reality than I believe in. And I don't know at this point, because big tech has become so ubiquitous, because we're all wandering around with this device, and how it's manipulating us, and whether it's listening to us or reorganizing results based on what our interests are, whatever it might be. I don't know how we mitigate that. I don't know how we get something to feel like a national ethos again. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I think the best thing you can do is care about your local community. You know, start really within your household, your family, and then build out, you know, a very bottom-up way of living. And I think a lot of people are turning to that. I also think that there's going to be more of a backlash against big tech growing. I think people are going to realize, you know, they called it social media. The implication was that it would make us more social. But we all know, you know, after the first couple years of Facebook, where you connected with some old friends and it was sort of fun, and oh, I can't believe that old high school friend is now doing this or that. Next thing you know, you've started to hate everybody. You're angry at people all the time. We doom scroll on Twitter, where you just look for things to make you angry. And then, of course, they built in these technological tricks like infinite scroll, where it never stops. So pages never stop, and your brain just keeps going and going and going. That's why I do my August off the grid thing. But basically, we have to figure out, how do we connect a country from an American perspective? We've got about 350 million people here. Well, now we're all starting to believe very, very different things. And how do we make sure that those founding documents that are so precious, that have freed so many people over generations, how do we make sure that they're still respected and honored and obeyed? I don't know what the answer to that is. That's sort of where we're at, right? Like, the machines have turned on. From a Terminator perspective, Skynet is on, and we can't shut it off. These companies never, you would think they're these giant sort of amorphous companies that are in every part of our lives. It's funny, they have no PR people. You never see anyone get interviewed anywhere. Somehow they have no PR teams. No one ever explains anything. People have to get involved. It's one thing for us to talk about these ideas all day long, but one of the things that I mention on my show is that we can't just talk. We've got to do. We've got to recall governors. We've got to build new places of education. We have to build new tech. We have to do all of the things, because the progressives, in an American context, sort of your Labor Party, our Democratic Party, they're not for anyone. They're not for small business. They're not for minorities. They're for power. Every single policy that they put forth is taking from someone to give to someone else, as long as it fits in their intersectional diagram of insanity. if they wanted to be for people, if you wanted to be for people, what would you do? Well, first off, you wouldn't take so much of their money. You'd say to people, hey, we, the government, don't need to be this endless black hole of money-sucking, awfulness. What we could actually do is let you keep most of your stuff, and we, the government, will stay slim and trim, and basically will stay out of your lives. We will fund roads. We will fund the police. I know that's very controversial in America, and apparently it's starting to become controversial in the UK as well.
Only on Be Positive.
We all are fighting the same thing right now, whether it's you in London, whether it's me in Los Angeles, whether it's someone watching this in the Middle East or in India or in Mexico. The growing monster that is leftism, wokeism, progressivism, Marxism, whatever you want to call it, this centralized power that wants to pit us against each other and reorganize the world order as it sees fit, that's what we're all fighting against. And I think the silver lining is that people are waking up. And the question always is, well, how much destruction can it rot before we actually do something about it? Well, I think the way we get people more involved is that the generations younger than us old timers talking right now, they are growing up in this time where the expert class has failed them. They don't trust anybody. I mean, when I do college events and I talk to 18, 19-year-olds, if I say CNN, if I'm giving a talk and I just mention CNN, that's the punchline to them. They laugh at CNN. So the entire trusted class that we grew up with, where, oh, you trusted an academic class, you trusted a scientific class, you trusted a political class or a media class, at least at some level, that has been completely blown up for these people. Now, does that mean that everyone involved was bad all the time? Of course not. Of course not. And I try not to impugn everybody's motives, and everyone has selective pressures and everything else. Young people look at all of these people and they're like, man, you guys have failed us. Nobody is watching CNN going, this is true. Yes, there's a certain amount of sort of blue anon people that just don't get it, that are going that route, but the ratings are tanking. More people are getting their news from places like this. And we just got to keep pushing and pushing and have faith. I always have faith in the human mind. That's the thing. I believe in human ingenuity. I believe that young people can fix things. And I believe that we can do it. I don't think the monster can eat all of us. I just don't think it can. But how many of us can it eat and how much destruction? That's the $1 million question. People like us, we don't think government is God. So I'm not here to, let's pretend I was running. It would be like, I'm not going to tell you I'm here to save your life. I can't save you. Ronald Reagan said the worst 8 words in the American language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. It's like they've tricked everybody into thinking the reverse, that the government is supposed to help you and save you and organize your life and give you all of these things. So really what we need, beyond getting decent people to run, we need better education. I mean, it sounds cliche at some level, but we need to show people that the way you're thinking about your relationship with government is completely backwards. Government should be staying out of your life, not interjecting it to every part of your life. But too many people think, oh,
only on
if I can just get enough power, if I can just get the guy who I want to run the freaking thing, then all of my problems will be solved. And I don't know of a problem that government has really solved. Do I think it's the government's job to make sure that I have a job or make sure that I'm paid a certain amount or something like that? It's just a crazy, why would you think that system is going to treat you right? It's going to treat you like a cog. That's it.